Good evening, the time is 6:40, date is January 24th, 2023, Abington Conservation Commission meeting. First item on the agenda is SE 084-562, notice of intent located at 833 Washington Street.
Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes with ECR here on behalf of the Buddhist Temple at 833 Washington Street. We submitted the notice of intent to address the gazebo construction that is or was underway. It's my understanding there was a kind of a disconnect between parties, that they had gotten a building permit. You guys can correct me, is my understanding, but they obviously didn't go through conservation, or weren't told they had to go through conservation, started the work, and that's why we're here. Mm-hmm. So after they were notified that they had to go through conservation and file, they immediately installed the erosion controls, or at least they did before I was involved, because they do have the erosion controls up. And then I was contacted. So we delineated the limit of the river, I'll call it. You can, I always
shoot him a Tuscan.
Thank you. And the wetland, which is mainly off-site. It's on the other side of the butterfly park. There is the 100-foot buffer zone comes into the site. The 200-foot riverfront area also comes into the site. There's, as you can see, the property line is separated. Actually, I'm sorry, it doesn't come into, the BVW doesn't come into the site, the buffer does. The 200-foot riverfront certainly does. But the vegetated wetland and river are off-site. What we're proposing to do is to complete the construction of the gazebo and restore the parking area around it. We did get to meet, and I think the proposal to add some sort of drainage around the roof runoff is a good idea, and we were able to include that with a 2-foot wide gravel drip strip to handle the rain runoff from the roof. And also, as a betterment to the site, there's debris and brush and logs that have been pushed into the wetland edge that we're proposing to remove, so that will be included in the project as well. So at this point, it's to finish the gazebo project, stabilize the site, and perform that restoration of the dumping, which isn't necessarily associated with the gazebo, but it's ongoing. So because of the nature of the site being mainly developed, the project complies with the performance standards for riverfront, and we're in the outer buffer zone, so that I think the commission will be agreeable with the proposal, but that's why I'm here, so I'll take any questions you have.
Brett, a question I have, the debris, is that over in like the...
It's kind of in that wetland edge, if you're...
Where the 20-foot buffer is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Kind of pushed, probably kind of a composting kind of area that's been mainly used, I think, from the residents here. It doesn't necessarily appear that the butterfly park is the culprit there, because it would be more difficult for them to kind of get around the corner to put that in. But it's not, it's probably been ongoing for a long time. It might have been there from the prior people.
I was going to say that when Kathy and I were there for the site walk and we met Mr. Holmes, we went and through the butterfly park to get behind there to look at your flagging and everything, and that's when we had seen. And that stuff had been sitting there for quite some time.
Yeah.
Probably long before they ever purchased.
That's what I think as well.
But-
Looks like a tree too behind.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
there
it,
obviously was some sort of damage or branches that were all just shoved in there. And you had mentioned that you were going to clean that up and probably put some plantings in there so as to just protect that whole area in there, and that kids or whoever was using the gazebo would not be going over there.
Right.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey.
So,
Well,
and we were just talking about the gazebo when we were looking at the
Oh, yeah.
site walk, and
Yeah, I think my only concern was that this is a redevelopment. I apologize. I tried to go back and look at the historic photos. I got back to 2001, and it looks like it was disturbed, but knowing that this used to be the Grange, they probably parked horses there over the years, so,
Might
you
be
know.
some buried,
So even though,
Good soil.
what?
Have some good soil there.
Yeah, some goods, but they probably, you know, and park cars. It might not have been paved. So, you know, I think I'm okay with the fact that it's a redevelopment. So that was just, I think, left over from the site visit that we had that
Yes.
I had a question.
what's going to be the method for dewatering the hole that's there now?
Well,
I'm sure it's probably,
it's filled pretty good right now, so they'll have to, what we'll do is we'll have to build a, kind of a hay bale corral, and then,
use like a dirt bag to
right,
pump
and then
into that, just let it,
put straw bales.
Yep.
Probably put a filter fabric down, straw bales, and let it filter through.
perfect.
Is there any reason why it's located in this position and not farther away from the river?
Probably the topography of the road.
I think mainly for access, and because when you move it further up, it's, you know,
Closer
closer
to
to the
Washington.
building and closer to the street, and I think they can kind of still maintain the functionality and get around. They have quite a large statues that's kind of the reason for the beefed up foundation. So I think it fits there well. I don't think they obviously were thinking of the need for conservation to move it further away, but at this point, we have a huge hole that we have to fill in anyway. I don't know if we could really get it closer to the street.
No, because then you'd be piling the dirt where that hole, you'd want to put the dirt where that hole is, and it's just going to be closer to the, I'm fine with where it is.
Okay. And someone mentioned, or you mentioned plantings, additional
Yes.
plantings?
So what we're proposing to do is to remove that material, and then anything that needs to be planted, it's in the project narrative, we'll assess it and put wetland plantings in. I
Okay.
think a lot of it's just kind of debris that, once we remove it, we'll have the native rootstock is going to spring back. But once it's taken out, I put it in the notice of intent that a wetland specialist will look at it and address that if needed. So that could be a condition, hopefully in the order, to have it evaluated.
Were there any invasive species down there that you noticed?
I'm sure there are. I didn't necessarily, I'm sure there's glossy buckthorn in the wetland, and
Yeah.
it's
It was really hard to identify, and it was
Yeah.
raining, so.
It's kind of a hammered area, so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's, unfortunately, invasives.
But I do like that stone drainage around the perimeter of the gazebo.
And will they give us, some, or you give us some idea of what kind of plantings will be put?
Definitely, yeah. Well,
Okay.
as soon as we remove everything, I can get hopefully I'm involved, or as far as a special condition, we'll get an email to Tony and the commission what we're going to put in there. I mean, obviously, it'd have to be native, because you're going to go down the slope, up and then down, so preferably some, buffer plants getting into wetland plants.
Right.
I like that because it's just going to protect that area even more so than,
Any other questions? Open up to the public. There's nobody here, so I'll bring it back to the board.
Do we have an SE number for this?
Yep.
Yes, we do.
There's no notes from DEP, right?
I didn't see any, no.
No, okay, good.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Yep.
I'll make a motion for SE 084-562, notice of intent, to approve the structure. What do you call it?
Gazebo.
Gazebo structure for 833 Washington Street.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Got my drawing back and everything?
Yo, Brad, the next thing we have on is the
Sorry.
enforcement order. So once the appeals and everything go through, I'll just vote to rescind that and everything be put in under the NOI.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go off this topic, the neighboring property next to this, I don't know if Jean brought it up.
Oh, I did.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, not here tonight, but
But
I,
yeah, the neighboring property, has encroached into the wetlands. They're storing stuff, so I think I would like to request that we ask them to
Already did.
come to the next meeting. Thank
I already
you.
sent a letter.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Because. it-
Stuff's already been removed.
Excellent, good, thank
Good,
you.
because it was very messy.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
So next is discussion on the enforcement order for 833 Washington Street. So like I just said to Brad, we can't rescind it until the appeals for the NOI go through, so hopefully the next meeting we can, right, the next meeting we'd be able to. right?
We have to issue the orders of conditions, and then they have 10
10
days
days from
to
that.
be appealed.
So
Once
is
it's actually registered at
Registered.
DEP. Remember that email that we got
Yep,
from DEP, so it has to go to DEP for the 10 days to work.
okay, yes, then whenever that time period is, then we can vote to rescind the enforcement order. All right, next is discussion and possible vote on revisions to the notice of intent checklist. Hopefully, we're finally at the finish line.
It's been a long journey.
Yeah, did you print out the final copies?
I did.
Oh, no, I think he asked Tony to print them out.
Yep,
Cool. Thank you, I
There's
just
a-
wanted a hard copy.
The other,
How did I lose my agenda items?
you have the other one.
I don't know, you can share
Find
mine.
it.
Okay.
Yep,
We'll share.
Yeah. I thought this was in good order. Thank you, Lynn, for cleaning it up.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jean, for starting it. Thank you, Kathy, for looking. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, is this
you have any
in,
more?
is this in Adobe Acrobat, or can we make it in
We'll make
Adobe
a couple more
Acrobat?
copies.
Make it in Adobe.
I think we should do that, yeah, and that way Tony can post the Adobe. I don't think she's listening, so we'll have to wait. Paul, I'm suggesting that we, once we approve this, that we put it in Adobe Acrobat, so that it's, nobody can change it, online. That way it's easy,
yep. Yeah, we can-
rather than the Word, and we'll try to keep the words separate and
Yeah.
integral.
Yeah.
I just,
They'll like delete stuff and,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Thanks.
There.
I already know what it says.
Yeah, I knew she was going to bring them, so.
All right, we'll go through the technical one first.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions on the last revisions that I sent out today? I basically went through everybody's revisions and I looked at it, I consulted with a conservation agent from another town and, a lawyer that my company uses to just go through just the wording on certain things.
Can we just stop for a second, just so I understand? I just got this from Tony. Is this what we're reviewing?
Yep.
Or is it the one with the markup?
No, review, I just basically took everything
Okay,
and.
thank you.
Yeah, we're just doing the final one.
Yeah, thank you. Just make sure I'm looking at the right thing. And it's not like we can't change this if we have an issue as we go forward.
Yeah, so I figure at some point, we'll come across something and realize, this isn't working in this case, we need
Yeah.
to change it,
Or we want
or
different
this
wording.
is really weird, like, we need to fix that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's worded weirdly, or it's just confusing people, it's
No, I think this was a
not that hard to
good,
fix.
I think this was a good effort from everyone. And,
Good.
it looks like a solid document to me. A long time coming.
I don't have any comments. Does any? No?
How soon can we get it put online?
So I guess we gotta vote, you guys gotta vote it, right?
Huh? Well, we gotta vote on first.
Do we want to?
If we could,
Well, you wanna go,
expand the table like a hair so that the
Yeah, so the T isn't cut off
R isn't
riverfront.
down here.
Yeah, I just saw that
that would
too.
take 2 seconds to do.
Yeah, and buffer too, yeah.
I'm happy to like do that and then just turn it into a PDF.
Oh, sure,
And you can do it
Yeah,
too.
I think that's a good idea,
yeah,
that if you can turn it in,
yeah.
so we can get it. That'd be great.
It was just, to paint column, purple, red and green need to go by a pixel or two.
All right, so does anybody have any questions on the technical? Are we good with that?
Yeah, we are.
All right, and then the other portion of the checklist?
Calendar days?
Let's say business.
I thought business.
I'd say business.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't do
Where did you get
business
that
on.
from? Did you get that from Mac or?
I mean, I just
Usually
think-
when you're over 10 days, it becomes business days, rather than working days. Like week, a
Yeah.
week, so.
So 10 business days is basically 2 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
which
then
is-
that takes care of holidays, because those wouldn't count.
Mhm.
So it's basically the same.
10 business days.
I think I'd use 10 business days, that way you cover the holiday that
Yeah.
way.
And we already had a note that holidays, town meetings, elections can affect scheduling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anywhere on this where it says 14 calendar days, we're gonna switch it to 10 business days.
Yeah.
And business, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Says it-
There is one little strikeout here on number 11.
Oh, on the fees, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did it today.
That's fine. Changes look good there.
Okay.
In fact, you could put them as 2 separate things, but
No, that's
Too
more.
late
Might turn
now.
into
Yeah,
3
yeah.
pages.
yeah. Okay. That one should not be too hard, right, Tony? Like, it's only 15 things.
Okay.
And it gives you a lot more time.
I have so many drafts of this.
Anybody have any questions on this?
No,
No.
No.
I'm good.
Does someone want to make a motion to approve you with the revisions that we made tonight?
Somebody gonna make that motion?
Lynn?
I will make a motion to approve the revisions to the NOI checklist.
To be implemented
To
immediately.
be implemented immedidately.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
So nice when a project is over.
I am glad it's over.
All right.
Okay.
Next up, discussion on possible updates, revisions to the Abington Conservation Commission bylaws.
Yeah.
Jean?
Yeah. I thought I brought the paper with me, but I didn't. But what I've been looking at is we should have something in place with no disturb, no build areas. I Googled it, like, Conservation Massachusetts, no disturb, no build zones, and all these different towns came up. And what I'm finding is that a lot of them have a 25 no disturb, and then a 50 no build. The town of Halifax is very unusual because they have a 50 no disturb. They actually went to try to push it to 100, and that didn't fly in 2019. Hanover has, theirs is very funky. I took a picture of it on my phone. But just checking and reading through different conservation areas, I mean, this is what I'm finding, so.
I think the no disturb, we have almost adopted already.
Okay.
So it actually would be a good thing to incorporate, I think.
Okay.
I think the 20, I'm completely on board with the 20 or 25 feet.
We use 20 right now, but.
Yeah, we can pick a number.
So I just came across this article in the newspaper, Attleboro, A couple years ago, the mayor proposed a no disturb of 75 feet.
Wow.
Which pissed everybody off. I don't think, I checked their bylaws and it doesn't look like it passed.
Oh, maybe
But-
that's the one I saw, it wasn't Halifax. I know Halifax has a 50, but.
Yeah. And whoever the reporter was super detailed and they created a table
Oh, no way.
of all,
Did they? Oh,
of
awesome.
all of the communities that have no disturbs and no builds.
Excellent.
It's not comprehensive because I was looking at Hingham. Yeah, so I printed it. Unfortunately, I ran out of nice white paper, but I brought 2 copies because I wasn't even sure if we were going to talk about it. But maybe Tony can.
Well, I think
Print
there's
some
some
copies
copies
out.
out of the bylaw.
But it looks like there's no town that has 20. All of them are at least 25 no disturb. There are a sizable number of 50 no disturbs. And I just started kind of going looking for patterns for things. Usually they'll also have a no build. So there's a bunch of towns that have 25 no disturb and then 50 no build.
Where I'm working right now, that's what they have. 25 no disturb, 50 no build. Well,
There's some towns that, typically what I noticed is, with a few exceptions, if you have a 50 no disturb, they typically don't also have a no. But there are some exceptions, I think, I can't remember, there's a couple in there where they have, Marshfield goes out 75 feet. They have a 50 no disturb and 75 feet no build. So they're going beyond the 100-foot buffer.
Wow.
And there was one town that I think it was Wareham, which is interesting. They had a 30-foot no build for new residential, and then 50, sorry, no disturb. 30 no disturb for residential, that's new, and 50 for new commercial. So there's a whole bunch of variation. I can share, I can send that to Tony or email everybody or whatever, or you can make a copy, Tony, of this. And it's not complete because it didn't have Rockland on there. And Rockland has 25 feet.
Well, Rockland does have 25 feet. I couldn't
disturb.
find anything on Whitman. I tried to
I
find,
couldn't find it on Whitman either.
yeah, I mean, for
They
some reason.
mention in that table and in the article, they mentioned there's a bunch of towns that don't have.
Right, East Bridgewater, I couldn't find anything on that either, so,
Yeah.
because I
But
was
we
trying
don't
to.
have it either, so, you know.
Right, so I was trying to find locally,
Yeah.
but I kept
Hingham
coming
wasn't
up.
on there, but they have 50 feet no disturb.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing Hingham,
what about
Marshfield.
Holbrook,
Holbrook, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, there's nothing on the list right now.
Brockton, Avon?
No,
Brockton, I didn't look. but
Braintree
they're all
has
funky
25.
'cause they,
Bridgewater has
the
25.
riverfront's one of the areas. where the
Hanover,
riverfront does not
Hanover does,
apply.
but like I said, Hanover's is kind of weird because it's by the type of project it is.
I think we don't want to make it too complicated,
No,
guys.
I don't either.
Do it like we did the filing fees. Keep
Right.
it-
Keep it
Keep
simple.
it simple.
Right.
Right, and, you know, I guess my inclination would be with the 25 feet to start with, and maybe work with that and see how we go. I think I want it to go through,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
afraid that 50 may not go through, guys. I mean,
No,
frankly.
I think you're correct
What
there. I
if we
think-
do what Wareham does, though?
What's that?
What-
So Wareham is doing that 30 feet for residential, that's new, and then 50 for commercial.
I would just do 30 for do 30 across the board.
But it makes a difference because if you have like 20 acres of land and you're putting a single-family home, it's easier to be okay with the buffer. But you take that same property and you stick like a Lowe's and a Home Depot on it. And now you're dealing with a situation where you're gonna have a lot more people, potentially people are gonna take their dogs to Lowe's, you know, they're gonna have people walking back and forth, and trucks coming and going. So 30 feet is probably not gonna be enough. But I think it's not, to me, 25 feet isn't really enough anyway, but maybe there can be some sort of compromise where we do something like what Wareham's doing.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at some of the towns here in Plymouth County, like Marshfield is Plymouth County. I mean, they're 50-foot no disturb, 75 no build.
I don't know how they got that through.
I don't
I don't
either.
I don't know how you...
Plymouth is 35 no touch, 50 no build. Plimpton, 25 no disturb, 50 no build. You know,
They have a lot
Raynham.
more land though, too.
I understand, but that's why they have more land. But I'm
Not
saying,
much left, so.
I'm trying to look at what's in Plymouth County versus North Shore or west of us, but,
Well, the first thing is, looking at this list,
yep,
the 25 feet seems to be the minimum that everybody is taking.
right.
So for me, that's at least an obvious point to
25.
talk. Yeah, everyone
Go for
is,
25.
If
Can you
everybody's-
make changes down the road?
yeah, we
you
can,
can
do
we
it.
have to, we have to go
You
through.
have to go back.
You have to
Town
realize
meeting.
that we're going to go to town meeting and have to argue this in front of town meeting.
Right.
So, you know, if you, not argue, but
Discuss.
make our case. But for me, at least 25 is the starting
I
point.
say
We can
take a
talk
little
about where we
piece of the
go.
pie and then
What?
take a bigger chunk later.
Right, well, I mean, I'm more inclined to lean towards 25 no disturb and 50 no build, because that seems to be the majority of what I'm seeing here is 25 no disturb, 50.
And no build means they can, you know, make a lawn, I think, right? Let me understand what
They
no
can
build
do
means.
lawn on no build.
Right, no build is they can do landscaping, they could do, it's not, they're not, when you're saying no build though, are you talking about no
Put a
parking lot?
retaining wall.
Yeah, well, it's really, I think we need a definition of no build.
I was looking, Tewksbury had an article, they had a subcommittee that looked at all this, you know, scientific articles. It was not a very good document because they were all over the place. But they were defining no build as to do anything in there, it has to be an extraordinary circumstance, almost like where we have riverfront, you have to have an alternatives analysis. It was kind of like that, you know, more focus on avoidance and alternatives. But definitely, yeah, you could have lawn and stuff like that, but it would be, it'd be stricter than what we have now in terms of what we would allow on those 50 feet.
So we
Sorry,
would definitely have to have a
basically-
definition for no build.
Yeah.
If we do decide to use it or not. I don't know, I hadn't really thought about this, guys, so I'm kind of thinking out loud at the moment. I like the idea.
Could we ask town council for their input as far as the definition of no build, or should we just kind of,
We can define that in the bylaw, right?
Yeah, we define it in the bylaw, and then we'd probably have town council review it.
Because one of the things they mention in the article is how people are calling it different things. Like,
Yep.
one town will call it no work.
Right.
And others will say no disturb.
limited disturb, no
What it-
build?
Yeah.
What does Rockland have?
Rockland doesn't,
They don't have
they have a
anything?
25-foot
20
no
foot.
disturb.
Nothing for the no build?
I didn't see anything else.
But there's quite a few, I'm amazed at this list, and
Yeah,
it's
I-
older, so,
Yeah,
It's
I know.
not, it's 4 years old.
yeah,
Three
but there's a
and a
lot
half.
of towns on it, I'm
There
actually
might be
surprised.
more that's not, you know, there might be ones that had 25 and nothing
Yeah.
else and added a no build. I'm gonna go through
Yeah.
and double check everything because it has been.
So we
3.5
have to get
years.
this bylaw into the town, the warrant closes, I think, what, like the 9th,
13th.
the 13th? So we don't have much time.
Our meeting is the 12th.
So we have to vote
Well,
on
we
it.
could always have a special
special.
meeting next week.
Yeah, we could have
had
a
to.
special meeting.
Yeah.
I did have one other thing, just to make you all crazy, is that I'd like to see us increase the replication.
I agree with you.
I would like to go to 2 to 1.
I agree.
That, I think,
Yeah.
I think that is something that's well overdue. I thought it had been done. I think many of us thought it had been
Well,
done.
when I first got on the board, I think,
I've been
they thought it
told,
was-
I've been told repeatedly by different people that it was there and it's not in the bylaw.
Yeah.
And I really think that we should increase our replication to 2 to 1.
I agree.
I think you were the one that pointed out then at one of the meetings that it was 1.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I first started, somebody pointed it out, and I remember, and we
Yeah.
said 2 to 1,
But
and
that-
we were
that one I
corrected
think
on
is-
that, no.
I did- I
Actually,
corrected
it might have been,
No,
it might have been
I think it was-
Karen, might have been
Yeah.
Karen.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I think that would be a really nice addition, and it should be a pretty straightforward add to the bylaw. I think we don't want to redo the whole bylaw. I think we want
No.
to just
No,
add
replication.
Yeah.
replication in this, whatever we decide for the protection.
I mean, I just think it's a start, because when was the last time anybody looked at the bylaws for conservation?
It's
You know,
been a
just
long time.
in reading.
Kathy, you should know that, right?
It's been a long time,
Right,
guys.
and I mean, I just started reading some of the other towns when I was doing some of my comp searches and everything else, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of them are very good, but I think that, we should take
Yeah.
baby steps,
Of
frankly.
course, yeah.
I think it will be easier. I think the things that we want to accomplish are pretty straightforward. I think we just talked about them. I don't think we want to go in,
We're not going to increase the buffer by 150 feet or
No.
have a 50-foot no disturb. I think that would not.
No, but down the road, I
Why?
mean, like I said, I've worked in towns where, on restoration, replication projects, where they have bonds set up to make
Yeah.
sure that
those things get done.
instead of
Yeah.
having to go through, I mean, instead of enforcing those, we gotta find them every day, it's, you have a
Right.
bond, it's all right there.
Right, and I think we may.
You were thinking about as a bylaw?
I've heard it been done in a couple different towns, but again, baby steps.
I think
I think-
some simple things that we
Yeah.
can easily explain would be, with the goal of just improving protection.
Exactly.
I'd like to see, I don't think the replication always works very well when it's only 1-to-1. We might get 75%, it might fail. So getting the 2-to-1 will,
It ups the chances of
of getting
success.
something, and,
Right.
they're getting something for that land.
Right.
And then, and I like the no disturb myself. I think making that more official, rather than more of a policy, but an official bylaw, I think is a really good thing. That I think will be very helpful for us. Because it's just on the books and we don't have to hear about it anymore.
Bill Ricker is funny, it says 25 to 50, no alteration. I'm like, is that something they determine at each project, I guess?
I have to look at their.
It's probably, yeah, they probably take
Yeah.
it case by case.
Yeah, and I think it's all the definition we pick for no, for
That's
those.
kind of weird, right? If you're looking to build on the property and it says 25, 50, no disturb, right? Then you're just like, well, what's no I mean, that can make a big difference on your project.
Yeah,
sure
they're doing-
can.
they're
If you're
doing
putting in
this.
erosion control, you're disturbing,
You are,
Yeah.
right, and you're
You are
actually saying the
disturbing the-
erosion control is gonna go at the 25 feet.
yeah.
Yep.
You're not, there is something to it, so.
Okay, so we have to hustle.
So do we want to set up a special meeting next week? Set it up now, that way,
Yeah, I
It's
think
all-
so.
We have CPA on Tuesday next week,
Oh, we do.
so could we do it like maybe a little later?
What do you mean ZPA?
Community
the same, you want to do it the
preservation.
same night? Or can we do it, why can't we just do a Zoom?
Yeah,
Oh, we could do a
Zoom for it.
Zoom,
yeah, you could do it early and do a Zoom maybe?
Yeah.
And then everyone can
What
be on
time are we
it.
thinking?
5:30?
Yeah, 5:30, does
What
that
day?
work for everybody?
5:30 Tuesday, a quick Zoom? Because CPA isn't until 7.
Right, we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next Tuesday?
What's the date on that?
The 31st.
January 31st.
Bye-bye, January.
Yeah, thank God, I hate January.
February is coming.
February's a bad month for me.
Oh.
Yep. 10 years apart, 2 days apart.
So I guess,
How do we want to word the agenda? Just vote on possible bylaw
Revisions?
revisions or updates?
Or additions,
Yeah, yeah,
additions
right.
to the conservation bylaw.
revisions and additions
Yeah.
to the bylaw.
Yeah.
And then but I guess we have to do a little research in the meantime about the buffer.
No build
The no build
versus
and what all that
disturb.
means, yeah.
I
And try to
wonder
get some
if,
language for the replication.
Mac might have anything on that, I don't know.
They probably
I'm
do.
sure,
Yeah.
I was just trying to Google, because I was just thinking about it today.
5
and
or
I found
5:30?
that.
5:30?
5:30?
5:30, okay. And then I started Googling no disturb versus no build. and
That's what I was doing.
I didn't really get anywhere. But
Oh, I
wasn't-
did.
Because I saw that, and then I was like, ooh, and I started spending all my time like counting up the number of communities
Yeah,
that
yeah.
have 50 feet.
Oh my
and
God,
how
I
many
had a-
have 25,
I
and
had
how
a
many
list at
also
home,
have.
yeah.
So that's how I spent my part of my afternoon.
And then the towns that didn't have it, that didn't just pop, I ended up going into their bylaws and actually reading their bylaws, so it was like,
Really? Oh, that's pretty good.
So that's the other thing, is that it would be nice to have a very accurate assessment of, because it's been 3.5 to 4 years.
and this
since
would
that.
be a good thing to bring, to the town meeting, and just, say the number of towns that are at
That's next
this
week.
is old though, too, so.
Well, that's what I mean, is
Yeah.
like, I could go through and I could update that table,
Okay.
or you could.
No.
You
Who's
wanna have some
who's
fun?
gonna write up the bylaws? If we vote to approve them, who wants to write them up?
I'll work with Lynn.
Oh,
She can write. We'll figure it out.
you write and I'll like
You'll edit.
edit.
Yeah.
And if we make it that far, Alex can present it at the time.
Yeah, that's right. It's Alex's
Right.
job.
Firefighter can
Yeah,
present it
no,
as-
not yet,
He
not
should have
yet.
his voice back by then.
Yeah,
This is very good, though. But I want it to be
it was
accurate.
Attleboro. They were
You're a
really-
good speaker, you can
I am
go out
not a
there.
good public, Kathy is, I am not a good public speaker.
Huh?
I choke.
I am.
But Lynn was a professor, so.
Yeah. I got to a point now where I
Was,
don't really-
once you're a professional professor?
Oh, here,
Probably.
here, do you want to pass
I
that
have
back
no
to
fear
Lynn?
of
Sure.
public speaking anymore.
That's going back to you.
But I think it's more like because I used to teach spin classes
Oh, how interesting.
before meet, and you're sweaty. If you have makeup on, it might be running, you're red in the face, and you have to talk in front of people who are just doing this.
I only have a pencil.
Whatever. I have so many pieces of paper now. I'm
Oh,
after
we're doing
that.
the.
Oh, we're doing the orders of
Here.
conditions, yeah.
Oh,
All right, anything else on the bylaw discussion for now?
no.
I will update this and
Yeah,
send this out
I'll talk
before
to,
the Tony.
I'll talk to a couple towns that I know have 25 and 50 and see
What the definition?
what language they have for the
Okay.
25 and for the 50.
And the interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up, building permit site visits. So on Friday last week, Tim and I did a site visit to 714 Washington Street, Bedford Street, I'm sorry, the dentist office. They were looking to come in for a certificate of compliance. Everything looks good except they need to get the grass growing, so I told them to hold off until the spring. They're looking to get an occupancy permit. I told them, you getting a certificate of compliance isn't gonna hold, I'll sign any permit like we did for Cape Cod lumber, so they can get the occupancy permit before they come in for a COC.
That makes sense.
After that, Tim and I went up to McHugh Circle. They've installed the erosion control. They've done all the, I think they've done all the tree clearing. And that's where that stands. And I think that's it for site visits.
Yeah. There's something in our package that I don't know what it is. I have something from Ken Thompson.
Oh, that's correspondence.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
And then, meeting minutes.
Can we talk about that? Because I have a question. On the, on the receipt, they have a square around some of the,
I would hold off on, if you have any questions, I would just reach out to Ken.
okay. Sounds good. I don't have the.
I only have 2 meeting notes in my packet.
I got October.
I have November 8th and September 21st. Oh, God bless you. Thank you. What's up, Tony?
I got June.
How did you only get 2?
I don't know, I only have October
Yeah.
25th,
I have the
November
25th
28th, and
and the
November
November
30th.
I don't know. Maybe I'll read.
I somehow got,
And none of them are on the agenda?
And, yeah, November 8th is not on the
I
agenda.
got three, November 20, October 25th.
September 21st is.
I don't have
Minutes of the next one.
Yeah.
It came in my package
I'm
today.
sorry about that.
Well, what,
I just get one.
Oh, maybe there's one in here.
Like, they're all
Maybe you can
done,
use some,
too.
Rich's or Dan's.
If you want, I can give you the tablet if you want to.
do you have the one that you had to revise?
I don't have September.
No.
I don't have
September,
September 6th, 13th, or 21st, or August.
Here's November 8th.
My computer.
I got November 8th.
Okay.
I have October 25th, November 8th,
Here's September 21st.
we'll do it we'll do it on the Zoom meeting next week.
I got the
Yeah.
21st.
We'll-
I only
we'll
got
go-
two.
Now I'm looking for this August 23rd, September 6th, and September 13th.
Yeah, I think Paul just said we're gonna do it.
We'll do them at the next meeting.
Okay, never mind. Okay. All right, that works.
All right, so correspondence, you got the correspondence from Ken Thompson. I'm
Okay.
gonna send you guys another email that I received from Department of Public Utilities in regards to DigSafe and the using a Dutch auger.
Okay.
You need to call DigSafe, basically, is what DPU said.
Oh, great.
Because when I took the MACC class last week, they made it sound like you didn't have to, but you do. And I know I spoke to Michelle Gerard about it, and I think they're gonna work on adding something to that 103 class.
So people
Just,
understand.
yeah.
Good. Good.
And that,
They're gonna love us at MAC, aren't they?
between you and I, yes.
So Ken,
I'm confused at this too.
what did Mr. Thompson do? Where did he do this?
I don't know.
I just asked for the report. I
Okay,
sent an
good.
email out end of last week.
Yeah, because the address up top says it's 154 Brockton Ave.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what, well, that's,
I just don't know, because he's been on a couple of different projects, so, and it's just a invoice, so it's a little weird. Okay.
Interesting, no invasive species were present during the restoration planting because their previous wetland scientist had all kinds of invasive species there.
Yeah, Brooke Monroe had
Yeah.
listed all kinds of
all
stuff.
right, we'll talk about that at another
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out my file.
Order of conditions, you guys got the,
So Jean, how far should we put the siltation barrier at 833?
well, it's already
Brockton Ave?
there, except, is it not up all the way?
You mean 833 Washington Street?
Washington, yeah. I think it was right on the, my recollection was it was a little wavy.
Well, it was.
I think it's just been sitting there for so long. Why don't we just say 10 feet from the wetland edge?
You don't have a lot of, yeah.
You don't have a lot of room.
No.
So A1, 10
Yeah.
feet,
Yeah,
and then the rest, all the rest of A?
yep,
B,
1 and 2.
what about number 3? There's our drainage structures there. Now, there's no detention pond, but,
No, but B6,
yep, B6. C,
nothing.
yep. D,
I don't think a water quality report is necessary. It's really not.
what about D1?
Let's do one.
Just not just a program, I mean, just to make sure that nothing washes down the stream, make sure
I
all
like
the...
that, I like that. They are awful close.
But this is asking, D1 is asking for reports though, Paul.
Oh, yeah, down at the bottom, yeah.
Oh, never mind. Any change to furniture, busy, any chemical, biological,
I just don't think it's appropriate.
okay.
D3 though.
Nope,
There's no
D3,
basin.
there's no detention basin.
Oh,
Once they fill
sorry,
in the
didn't read
hole,
that
there'll be
part.
no, there'll be a
It's
place
gonna
to
be a
put one.
foundation, it's gonna be a basement to the,
So we're doing D1?
No,
no.
Or
No.
not? Okay.
So they're
nothing.
really not filling in a wetland, but they are gonna do some planting, so we should
Yeah.
probably do
We'll
a
do a
special
special
condition.
condition, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Nothing for F.
Gosh,
No
my
E.
children.
All of G. Nope.
Yep,
What do we want to do for G5? I mean, the pile, with a pile,
it's already there,
yeah.
but let's put 20 feet or 25, just so if they
25?
decide to have another
Well, all right.
pile. Because they got the
Minimum.
parking lot, they have room.
Right, they have.
25
on the other
feet.
side towards
G5,
Washington Street,
25. And do we want the piles covered?
Please.
Yes, please, they haven't covered it, I
Oh,
did
that-
ask.
We'll do a special condition for that. All right, H.
H2,
Yep, H4.
H5,
Yep,
H6,
H6, A, B, C, D, F, and G.
Yes.
H8.
yep. And
Yes.
H9.
Yep. I1, I2, A, B, and C. And then special, want to do no salt
Yep,
or salt, how do we word it, salt?
substitute.
Substitute.
Substitute, yeah.
For de-icing. For de-icing. And as far as the plantings, we want to just once.
We want him to check for invasive species and also give us some sort of narrative as far as the plantings go.
Plan, yeah.
Yeah, and the plan.
Are we gonna do anything on the back there where they're gonna clean up that area?
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
we're
we
talking about.
just
They're gonna
talked
clean
about.
that up
Yeah,
and then they're
clean
gonna
that up.
see,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're
see
talking about
what's there.
plants.
We need to see the planting plan.
They're gonna get rid of that tree that you brought up.
Right, that did tree.
Planting plan for construction.
Yeah, review,
It's a mess in
yeah.
that back corner.
I know, I saw that.
Send a plan to the commission for our review.
What was the other one?
Before construction?
Yep. Yep.
About the pile, right?
Not before, before planting. Before plantings.
Cover the pile.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Stockpiles need to be covered.
Is that fencing still good and in place and everything? I mean, I don't know when they plan on pouring foundation, but with the weather we've been having,
Are we gonna do anything in regards to the hay bales with the dewatering of the hole?
That's my
Yeah.
next special order condition. So any dewatering has to be done, how do I want to word it?
don't we have that in a prior condition that we can just copy out of?
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think I have one, I think I have it right here, hang on.
They were gonna use the dewatering bag?
no, it'd be, dewatering has to be done with a straw basin, filter
Oh,
fabric,
with-
and dirt bag.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Basin, filter. Can you say that again?
Yep, a straw basin, filter fabric, with a dirt bag on top. Or approved equal. Anything else for special?
Anything with with that, no, that fence
What fence?
that's around the hole now? We don't have to.
We have no jurisdiction over that.
Okay.
And as soon as they get rid of that water and fill it in, it'll stop being a hazard.
So same thing, once we rescind the enforcement order, we can sign the building permit. We can't sign it before that. Anything else? Someone want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the order conditions for, what's that number again? I'm sorry.
SE 084-562.
As stated.
Have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.